Steve Biko, he said it plainly. He told all of us, "Black man, you are on your own." He wasn't counseling despair. He was naming structural condition. Fast forward to June 2026. That condition just got a live demonstration. A US government directive switched off 2 of the world's most advanced AI models worldwide. They did this overnight. This was a decision that the company, we're talking about Anthropic here, they disagreed with it. Now my query is, if the provider does not fully control their own model's fate, what does that mean for the rest of us using said model? Tune in to listen to myself and Mr. Timothy Laku to unpack what could be a crisis or maybe an opportunity for AI and its sovereignty. Welcome to Tech Talk Africa. Timothy Laku.
Hey.
You are the man of the hour today. But before we get into this hot conversation...
Sip water.
You are a CIO/CTO and you happen to be a fractional one. A term you taught me just recently.
Yeah.
20 years of experience in the business.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
In Africa, on this continent.
On the continent.
So 50 plus countries, amazing.
Yeah.
Worked across the continent, north, east, southwest, central.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey.
And which is your favorite country? And please, Kenya better be the first, the favorite one.
I was going to just say
no
Kenya
pressure.
by default, but if I don't say Kenya, I will be lynched.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Kenya and then I'll move on to my number one country in Africa.
Which is?
So Burundi is very unique. Burundi has amazing scenes, right? Like the scenic environment, the geography.
Yeah.
Like it's a very underrated tourist destination across the continent.
Okay.
We only hear about Burundi when it comes to economic stuff. But if you go there for tourism, just to enjoy the scenes, it's lovely. So I think that's a surprise.
Okay.
For me, that was a surprise.
Okay.
South Africa is a given, Cape Town. So I'm not going to say that. I think that's an obvious.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for like modern, amazing experiences, Cape Town definitely.
Okay.
West Africa, surprise for me was Guinea and any of the countries Francophone countries. Okay. I think it's just the difference in terms of what poverty looks like there. It's a big flip between Anglophone Africa and Francophone Africa when you travel in Francophone Africa.
I can believe
it's like it's a big, difference between the economies that are in those two regions.
When will we get to Swahili-speaking Africa and Lingala-speaking Africa?
We take it for granted, yeah?
Yeah. So Anglophone, Francophone, Portugophone.
But East Africa already has taken over in terms of like, if we think about Swahili speaking, that is East Africa. That's East Africa.
For purposes of this episode, we're Swahili speaking Africa.
But when you talk Pan-African, we have to cross the borders all the way to Anglophone, Then there's Namibia.
Yeah.
Namibia is also very interesting.
The people there are brilliant.
You have a desert that meets the sea, and then you're like, this is a bit mentally disturbing. Where you have a desert on one side and then you have like an ocean. You're like, what is this? This is a bit confusing.
That's the beauty of the motherland. Yeah, but now...
Basically, the experience is unique from one country to another. And I think that's the beauty of it. So I don't think I have a favorite. I think I have an experience.
You have an experience. And where's home for you?
Kampala, Uganda.
Kampala. On to now the nice stuff. Understand the AI transformation journey. We've gone from talking from policy to strategy to acts, but now we're seeing a lot play out on the world stage, right? The month of June has been an interesting month. What have you observed?
I think this year has been an interesting month.
Okay.
If we talk about March, when the drones decided that, Iran decided they were going to, bomb those AWS data centers. And then now what happened with Fable?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happened last year when Trump decided that compute chips can't be exported to specific countries.
Exactly.
And then, some weights, some model weights can't be accessed, or basically the national security NSA can control what level of weights can be accessed by which countries.
So let's unpack all that as use cases, making the case for sovereignty on the continent. So it was, let's start. March last year, Trump is doing a Trump, that's what I always say. There's all the tariff imposition, NVIDIA are right in the center of the conversation. I'll just call it a ban around NVIDIA shipping out chips to China.
Yeah.
Is that when it started getting worrying for you?
Yes, yes, because I don't... Well, initially, there was a time that a sitting president would say some things could not be supplied to specific countries.
Yeah.
So this is not a first per se, but when it comes to chips, yes, that's a first. But some softwares could not, or at least even up to now, cannot be sold to specific countries as a US directive.
Yeah.
So that still exists, right? So no surprises there.
Yeah.
But at the time, it only existed at the software level. So now, hardware comes into the picture, and hardware that powers intelligence.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so now that was a precedence of its kind. And yes, definitely at that point, anyone who was like following this conversation around AI immediately started to understand that there were some red flags.
Yeah, that was around March, April, May time. Then we had the massive exodus from OpenAI's ChatGPT when they went into bed. Was it the US military? Yeah. Was that another red flag?
The fact that Anthropic was saying no to their model being used by Pentagon to be part of the conversation around how they can use intelligence to target Iran during that war.
Yeah.
And when they pulled out, OpenAI was like, hey, we can do it.
Sam Altman, forever the businessman. Forever.
Should I go happy?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. So that was like, Anthropic 0, Anthropic 1, and then OpenAI ChatGPT 0.
Yeah.
Because then it immediately, at that particular point in time, everybody started thinking, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Which tools am I using? Because if those tools can easily be used for military targeting, then I'm kind of not interested to do ChatGPT. Let me go over to Anthropic. So there was that big exodus.
Yeah, I was part of those.
Where people was like...
I was part of that exodus,
if these guys can stand against the US government, hey, then they will defend me.
Exactly.
Let me go over to Anthropic and start using Claude.
Yeah.
So kind of that migration happened. And I think it's in that 3 months that they had the most people create new accounts within Claude.
Yeah.
And I think there was an interview of, the founder, Dario, saying that they had a 80x growth during that period.
Yes.
And they were going all over looking for compute.
Yeah.
All the way to Grok, all the way to, XAI. Like they were searching for compute pretty much anywhere they could get it at that particular point in time. So yeah. So that was also interesting to like see that dynamic happen, that a company can say no to a government and for government using their tools for military attacks and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. And I think immediately, the question I think for me at that point was, how far will that go?
Same. Because for me...
Because you say no once and then you have to say no so many times. When will you stop saying no?
When will you stop saying no? And then the impact that had globally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because companies say no to governments all the time. But this particular no was so loud and it was like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That exodus that you're mentioning, 80x. And I'm sure the tech bros, the very rich tech bros, were not expecting such a shift, right? And then so we've seen conversations, we've heard of conversations around this. Then when you look at Davos, I was watching the Davos summit. When did it happen? Earlier this year, tech took center stage. it had Google team, Palantir. I don't know if Anthropic were there, but it was tech. And I said, okay.
I think you mean AI. AI took center stage.
AI took, not tech. Sorry, yes, because there's tech and there's AI. Yes.
AI has like just taken all the attention.
Yeah, every agenda, every global summit, AI, which is good. Fast forward to June 12th, Trump has done a thing. Like, no, you cannot export Fable 5 and is it Mythos?
Yes.
To the world.
Yeah.
That's when the penny started dropping for us.
Yeah. It's more. Or
has it dropped?
Not yet. I think leading to conversations like this definitely, and I'm sure other countries and other regions are also thinking about what does it mean. I think it triggered a response in terms of we need to react, we need to do something.
Yeah.
I think initially it was like, maybe we can access these tools and these models.
Yeah.
And the risk or the exposure of the US policy, foreign policy coming into the picture was never thought of as it was there in the back end.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden after Saturday, it became front and center.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good place for that conversation to happen. So it did trigger people realizing that I could be a hospital.
Exactly.
Right? And I've built this patient triage system on top of this AI that is probably Claude.
Yeah.
And what happens is that now suddenly if I'm told I can't access that particular model, this system that runs my hospital is down.
And that's not theory, because OpenAI are in agreements with quite a number of hospitals on the continent, right? So for them, what if OpenAI is shut down?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not even just a question of like the company actually shutting down, but it's more, nobody expected that directive to happen, first of all, that quickly.
Yeah.
And to happen without giving people time and consulting, right?
Exactly.
And now companies and startups are building on top of these models.
Exactly.
And so these solutions, obviously, at this particular stage, might have a smaller scope. Most of them are probably in pilot phase. A banking solution for credit scoring that is still in pilot phase. But at some point in time, this is going to be the heart of that company or that bank. Yeah, if the model is pulled out of the equation and it can't access what powers it, so then that solution cannot serve the customers of the bank. And in which case, what happens, right? You go back to your old ways of doing this thing. So it is a risk, it is an exposure, and it's something that definitely these companies will have to think about.
What if, scenario, you know how we operate sometimes, there's no rollback mechanism.
Yeah.
Because somebody came in and promised you, my AI model will do everything.
Yeah.
Get rid of what you have, phase it out.
Yeah.
You know, you've been paid to phase it out, and then you're helpless, essentially.
Yeah.
Are we looking at something like that?
So, yes and no. Yes and no, because yes, because it's possible and it can happen and it has happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And anyone who was excited to start to use Fable and started to build things using Fable for that week, suddenly on Saturday they couldn't continue with what it is that they were doing.
Yeah.
I'm happy it happened this soon. Because then what that means is that I'm not going to like put all my eggs in one basket. Because it happened when I was starting this thing out. If Fable come back again, like, I'll build using that tool, but I need to have a plan B. And so anyone who's building an AI application or whatever the case might be, use case on top of these models, they have to think about a plan B, right? So for me, the fact that it happened that soon, even soon enough in this AI transformation journey that we're experiencing now, nothing critical is yet in production. Nothing critical yet in action, right?
Yeah.
Some companies have reached there, yes, but it's not the majority.
It's not the majority.
It's not the majority.
Right. So
the majority are still piloting.
Yeah.
The majority are still asking, let's just first of all do AI awareness.
Yes.
They haven't even started building yet.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the cost is prohibitive.
It is,
right?
it is.
But if this had happened 5 years from now, chaos.
So there's a case for local sovereign compute and cloud, and it makes the case for it. But we'll get to that statement. So there's the US now. We'll go over to the EU and June again. I don't know what's going on this month. In Brussels, they passed what is called an EU sovereign package. And it has a proposed Cloud Act. It has open source strategy, like there's 3 packages. And when I looked at it, I said, okay, I guess they want to be self-reliant, but then again, what does that mean for us, the users, on the continent? So you have US on one side, the EU on the other side. We were at the same conference yesterday, and I think somebody mentioned that, the EU is overly regulated. So we have that hurdle to jump over. And I'm a bit worried now because the EU are moving as a bloc. The US are behaving the way they're behaving.
Yeah.
What then again does that mean for us?
Yeah.
They're not switching off models.
They're not.
They're going overly regulation side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they are doing is in the best interest of the EU countries in ensuring that they can enforce sovereignty at that level. It's the responsible thing to do.
Okay, so responsible AI.
It's not necessarily responsible AI, but if you as a country, what should your government do to protect the businesses and this risk of one day you have access and another day you don't have access?
So waliongeleshana, the translation. Did they talk to each other? Did they know this was coming?
No, they didn't, but I think they're just being, what's the word?
Proactive?
They're proactive.
Yeah.
Because they are anticipating that this is going to happen. It's just that it happened early, but they were anticipating that something like this was going to happen, right?
Okay.
And will this thing stop in the future? The answer is no. They're going to, you see, the thing is, I think the foreign policy of the US is they will leverage anything and everything to enforce their power, to be able to put their power on top of what they want other countries to do.
Yeah.
So that is not going to change. It's a power move here, right? This is about control. What can we do as leverage?
Yeah.
Our tech is leverage.
Yeah.
And they will continue to use that as leverage. So we can't stop them from using that.
And we shouldn't. I'm not pro stopping them.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to have plan B.
Yeah.
And so that's what EU is doing. EU is basically putting up something that is plan B in the event that these situations continue to happen. EU countries are actually okay. And that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
That's why I'm saying it's the responsible thing to do.
It's the responsible thing to do.
It's a responsible thing to do. So when we come down to the Pan-African level, 53 countries, what are our institutions that are responsible for our African continent?
Exactly.
What are they doing at the policy level?
Yeah.
What are they thinking about? What are they championing?
Yeah.
It's important for them to be able to start to think about what is plan B for us. Right now, we are on our own. You are on your own. I'm on my own.
He said,
whatever hospital in which country, if access is cut, shaurieni. That's essentially what is happening now.
That's what is happening.
But that's not good. And I think we need to, and hence why these conversations are important.
Yeah.
We're not saying don't access US models.
No.
We're just saying that because you've been given access, it doesn't mean that
if
that access is going to be denied at some point in time.
And
you have to have a plan B.
And the access is not infinite.
Yeah.
Now there's another player, the Chinese. Their models, from what I've read, are cheaper. They're open source. But then there's a document called Foreign Policy. How then should we navigate that? Because there's heavy Chinese tech presence on the continent as we speak.
Yeah.
And again, it's business. But then is the US, because Kenya was number 3 on highest users of ChatGPT, highest number of users of ChatGPT, us, right? And again, heavy Chinese tech on the continent, which means you can open doors for consumption of Chinese models. What are we thinking there?
And then the other thing about Chinese models is that now they're almost coming to the same level as frontier models from the US.
Yeah.
And there's going to come a time where they will be head-to-head with these frontier models.
If they're not already.
In terms of, if you see that trajectory of how quickly they've become good over the last 2 years, tells me that in a year's time, they're going to basically be head on, with the US models. So tech-wise, capability-wise, they are going to be equally as good. They're much cheaper.
Yeah.
Half the price.
Yeah.
I posted something on LinkedIn today about how the cost of using just Chinese models is 25 times cheaper than using US models. So for any work that you need to do, if you have a budget of $1,000, you'll get 25 times the output by using Chinese models than using US models. That's a lot of work that you can do for the budget.
It's a very high ROI.
Yeah, it is. And so we cannot, what's the word, ignore that piece. When you're a business, you have to think about maximizing the return on investment of the money that you have.
Yeah.
So we cannot ignore Chinese models, right? Right now, the reason why we are not thinking about them is because, hey, they're not as good, but they're going to be as good.
Who says they're not as good?
Everybody who believes that American models are the best and they are like fixated on it. So and they have not used these two tools to be able to understand that Kimi is as good. Kimi is as good as ChatGPT 5.5, right?
I have to be honest, I haven't tinkered with the Chinese model yet. Not because I don't think they're good enough. It's just I'm still tinkering with all the other models. But who says they're not as good?
Exactly. The other thing I think as well is just public perception. People believe that only like Western things are better. And when you're talking about China, it's like, okay, they're taking your data. But it's all PR, right?
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put anything that is company secrets into ChatGPT or Claude, right?
No, you wouldn't.
So that concern, while I'm using Kimi, is null and void, right? It's not a conversation starter because you're not going to do that anyway. So if I needed to build an app, I can use any of the tools. I can use Kimi, I can use Claude Code. Right?
But Kimi is a Chinese model.
It's a Chinese model.
Okay, fine. We're together on the same page.
Yes.
Okay.
So for what I want these two models to do, either one of them can deliver that output for me. My only concern is, and what people are talking about in terms of why they are not using Chinese models is because, it's pulling your data and all that.
But the rest are pulling your data.
American models also do exactly that.
Yeah, what's the difference?
So people don't understand that data once thrown into that model is gone. Like, just because it's American doesn't make it safer than Chinese models, for example. It's
computer science engineering principles. It's machine learning engineering principles. Whether it comes from Kenya, whether it comes from the US, whether it comes from the Caribbean, all the principles apply. It's just one has had a head start.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. The second one there is just not many people know that they have that option. Like to be able to go and access, the Chinese models. Not many people know. Like everybody knows about ChatGPT, Claude. Yeah, okay.
They've done the marketing. Yeah. They've poured money into it.
The other thing that people don't also understand is that a lot of the open models, the local models that you can download and put on your machine, in terms of the ones that who's building it to get to a level of capability better, China is really moving fast in that regard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've used Quen offline.
Quen is a Chinese model.
Yeah, it's a Chinese model. Okay. And I'm comparing it with the American ones. And I'm like, it actually does exactly the same thing. There's no difference. So because American models would like for you to be online and do subscription based.
Yeah.
They are not like encouraging building local models that are really, really good because they want the revenue,
of
right?
Course.
So if you download and start to use it and it's as powerful as the one in the cloud, why would you use the one of the cloud? So the cloud-based one will always be like advanced.
So who's cloud-based here? Teach me.
So if you do Claude Code, for example, for coding, right?
Yeah.
While you will be able to download the command line version and use it on your computer,
right?
But it still has to connect to the cloud for that intelligence. Right?
Okay.
But if I get Quen, for example, and I download it on my computer, I can put off the internet and continue to use it.
So
while it's on your PC. I don't have to subscribe for it.
There's a level of superiority with the Chinese models then. A level.
They're not as good, by the way.
They're not as good,
but they will get there. They will get there.
Oh dear.
They will get there.
Oh dear.
And the future of intelligence is really offline. It's really local compute. Like you pay for it once.
Yeah.
You install it on your computer, you leave it there and start to use it there. Right? And then this story, cloud and all that is like at some point everybody's going to realize I can't be paying $100 monthly, $300 monthly.
Yeah.
If I do that over a period of 2 years, I could as well just pay for it once and put it on my PC.
And that's what the Chinese models
Yes,
are going to do
that's
for us.
like the space where they're really building the capabilities. And that is now going to start to disadvantage the cloud-based American models. And then people are going to be like, hey, China, we love you so much. Come, let's do some deals.
Wow. Okay, now something policy-oriented. Not policy-oriented. The Africa report, the April, May, June of copy. In it, they said, the language of sovereignty has returned with force, yet countries do not become economically sovereign by declaring themselves so. Now, given everything we've just discussed now, because now we're talking about AI sovereignty, yeah? And our AI conversations, most places you go, sovereignty, right? But is the Africa sovereignty conversation just cheap talk, given everything that's happening?
Can we say that we are able to, like, say, over the next 1 year, declare, quote unquote, that we are AI sovereign? The answer to that is definitely no. Can we do that in 5 years? Maybe. Can we do that in 10 years? Probably yes. So there's a whole runway here of time.
Yeah.
A whole runway of investing in local infrastructure.
Yeah.
Hyperscalers, all of that. That's going to take time and money, right?
Yeah.
The question for me is, what can we do now?
But can I shock you a little bit? We do have sovereign infrastructure in country.
Is it at a capacity level to support the workloads for this country? When all banks go there, all hospitals go there, you and I and every school go there, is it at that capacity to be able to support?
My partner over at Ivastec, Atlantis, shout out to them, they do offer sovereign compute and sovereign cloud, right? So we're there, but to what you're asking. However, we're largely SME driven. So shouldn't we be looking at building localized smaller models as opposed to, until we get to where you're talking about, every bank, every school, every SACCO, before we get there,
I agree.
should you not be looking at the bespoke model development, because we're not where we are?
It should be distributed, because
that's the word, distributed.
Because if you think about the continent, it's impossible to invest centrally and build something. And then remember, we have to wait.
Yeah.
To be able, do we have time to wait? We don't. But if we decentralize, then we have people serving SMEs.
What are we waiting for? Sorry, so say that again.
The big investment, like if you have to centralize.
Yes.
Right. And say we, as until a point in time, we are ready as a country to serve this capacity I spoke about. Can we do banks? Can we do hospitals? Can we do everyone?
It's
going to take us 10 years.
It's even more than that.
Yeah. So it's not practical to wait.
No.
But can we have distributed compute across the country, across the continent that serve niche specific verticals? Like compute specifically that is being put together for hospitals. Beautiful. Compute specifically, hyperscalers that are put together specifically for SMEs. And then all of those are interconnected at some point in time, so that then at a national level, we do have that infrastructure. But it's distributed as opposed to centralized. That definitely is the way to do it. Yeah.
And we're doing it.
Instead of waiting longer term to be able to, for that infrastructure to be in place.
Because there's timelines before you access infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know, there's waiting periods of 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah.
The more there's control over NVIDIA and what TSMC are doing. That's the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. I never thought the fabricator. The more they're being, I would say, regulated, the more our timelines are being expanded, right? What then should African governments, because here is my confusion. So we've seen what Trump has done. Then they all met at G7. I'm seeing photos of the AI the Sam Altman and team with our president. And I'm sure there was something around set up Open AI in Nairobi.
Academy.
Set up an Open AI Academy in Nairobi. Yeah. But should we not be scared that Trump might just wake up and say, stop serving Nairobi if there's an academy here?
Exactly. So the risk doesn't go away.
The risk doesn't go away. So then what else?
Those conversations do not eliminate or remove the risk.
So the contract then, with where as and when they get that, because there'll be a big photo op, and Twitter and LinkedIn will go. There'll be a huge party. I might be part of that party. But then that contract, should it not stipulate you're not allowed to switch us off as and when?
So the funny thing is that you can't put something like that when it comes to foreign policy, national security.
Why can't you? Why?
Because I believe if you're operating from inside a country like Kenya, for example, the rules of the land supersede what you do there and what you can do from there. So that framework runs above.
You mean to tell me there cannot be a clause as in when that OpenAI Academy is set up?
Yeah. That it can be switched off?
Yeah.
There is no way. Why would they risk foreign policy and national security by including a clause like that? They will tell you that they have no control over that because this is above their pay grade.
But they're private sector.
But private sector cannot do anything that the government says they cannot do. That's why we pay taxes. We can't just wake up tomorrow and say we are not paying KRA.
Am I being anarchist? I think I'm being an anarchist.
Right? The government can freeze your accounts when they want. Then you have to go to court and prove that otherwise they should not, right? So there's a legal framework that will support anyone who's not happy with it. But the laws of the land are the laws of the land.
But then how do we protect ourselves from such things happening? Because
you can't.
Yes, we can.
How can you?
You mean to tell me there's no loophole? So essentially, we can't say, no, don't come and set up an open AI academy because it doesn't make sense. For me speaking for my interest in the field, right? But for that student who needs to access that academy, I mean, we've seen this with startups in the country, right? Put AI to the side, you wake up, a startup has been dissolved. What the chain effect? Do we not have guardrails around such chaos and such messes?
So the short answer is no, we do not. I know you don't want to believe it, but it's the truth. When the US government tells Microsoft you cannot sell this software to Kenya, they have no choice but to shut it down, right? Here, as Kenyans, there's nothing we can do or say.
For me, I don't care for the US at this juncture. I'm saying for us to protect our sanity. I mean, I had a little meltdown, but I can access other models. But we're now talking about real life. Back to the example you gave, a hospital, right? It could be our traffic system. It could be our education system. Hell, it could be the intelligence system of the country. And then next year we might be hosting a military conference looking at surrounding AI. How sovereign is sovereign? These relationships, how are we guarding ourselves from massive fallouts?
It's true. So here is a solution, and I think a way forward that might actually be helpful. We do it the way the EU are doing it. They're doing it as a block. So they're negotiating in terms of terms. Right?
Now we have a solution.
In terms of terms, they're not negotiating as one country trying to close a deal with OpenAI or Anthropic based on terms that they have no control over. But as a block, then you have leverage, right? So it's impossible for Kenya to say we can determine or dictate the terms of this contract. But as a Pan-African block...
So there's strength in numbers.
There's strength in numbers. So it's possible at that level to then say we need to agree on some things. And those things will require that Pan-African block talks to the US government at that level and say, this we believe should be unacceptable. And so there's got to be a process before you shut down the model.
Yes.
Right? We need to go through A, B, C, D, right? And so when we do that, that's the guardrail that you're asking about. But as a country, it's impossible. But as a block...
I don't like that word, impossible, Mr. Laku. I'm sorry, I don't like that word. You mean to tell me...
Now, when Fable 5 was blocked, what did we do? All these countries that were told, foreign countries as we were all called, what did we do about it? There's nothing we did about it.
I took it to WhatsApp and made it a whole status. We didn't do anything about it, because the AI awareness is not where it is. It's not matured. So, I mean, when I was talking about it, it's like, what is she talking about? Do we not have much more important things to talk about? Right? But when it gets to that point...
We're too early. This conversation happened very, very early.
It is happening early, but we need to have it. So it's not that it's impossible.
I agree.
Good. Is we need to explore the workarounds. Let's use project terminology. Be agile. Think of a workaround.
Right now, we definitely do not have that leverage.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll be able to create that leverage. But the way I see it,
yeah,
we can only do it within a bloc Pan-African body that negotiates on behalf of all the other countries.
So something like COMESA, go as COMESA.
East African Community as a bloc,
AAC,
even better, African Union as a body that represents Africa.
Yeah.
So even within African Union itself, I think right now they should be thinking about what can we, in terms of a function, create that starts to think about policy around AI.
Exactly.
And how can we start to defend and negotiate on behalf of the bloc, on behalf of Africa.
Because right now we're still in celebratory mode, but those of us who are in the industries, we stopped celebrating. Now we're seeing what could actually have a very negative impact on the society.
Funny thing, the companies that are going to basically lose the most, the companies that are essentially building and selling these models. Because then if you cut out, imagine how much money that Anthropic has lost over the last couple of days as a result of just pulling out Fable 5, for example, from their catalog. There are people who are paying for the new subscription of like $100 a month, and they will not renew. Because that model was the reason why they upgraded their subscription.
And the time and money spent on that model. Because model development is very, it's cost, intensive, time incentive, labor is intense.
Yeah, and that's why I love capitalism. Because the counter to what government is doing around policy that is not favorable is the drive of wanting to make more money as a company. So therefore, are they happy with the fact that decision has been made? No. Is it affecting their bottom line?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will go above and beyond to make sure that this restriction has been thrown away over time. They will do that.
Yeah.
So they will call all the, bodies that are lobbying around this thing. They will pull their weight. They will call the people who are involved, investors, all of that.
Of course.
The access we'll get the access.
It will,
back. But, the damage will have been done. Because then people are thinking, wait, we thought we were going to access forever. But clearly, any one day we can wake up on a Saturday and it's been pulled out.
Yeah.
So now people are thinking about plan B, which is not good for them because they don't make money when you have plan B. They make money when I'm the only plan.
The only ones.
I'm the only plan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they will go above and beyond to make sure that everybody accesses this within good terms of not being shut down, right? So they will fight for that. But we can't always depend on that.
No.
We need to have leverage as a continent to be able to defend and to be able to negotiate better terms.
You've been very vocal about that. So I'm writing a paper, and it's the sovereign AI governance paradox. How do you govern sovereign AI? This is for my own research purposes, because we're talking sovereignty. The procurement lines. Foreign, the international. The access, yes, it's in country, but then there's a lot of foreign sprinkles around my language today. And then, will it get to a point where these providers will say, okay, you want sovereign AI? Fine, kaini pekenyu. Where's the middle ground?
So we obviously don't want to become North Korea.
Thank you. That's where I was going.
Because there's North Korea too. So.
Exactly.
But the practical sense of
how
it.
How do you design for balance? Exactly.
The reality of it is, let's be honest, that 100% sovereignty, that's not the achievable goal. That's not the practical goal. We're not trying to hit on that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to say that cut down every other model, let's build our own in-house as a country.
No, we're not.
That's not what we're trying to do.
And we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Nothing actually right now works that way. Cloud, did we do any sovereign cloud?
But we have sovereign cloud in country.
But it's there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is that we did not announce as a country that we are no longer using all of this.
No.
Exactly.
No,
so it's the same approach, right?
That's career suicide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one way we could handle this is we already have the tools as countries. So first of all, we need to be able to have that one Pan-African voice that is able to, at that level, negotiate. So there's that piece. And then if you come down at a national level, you want to be able to say, can we do data residency, right? Because AI consumes data, that data needs to stay here.
Yeah.
How do they redesign the architecture or the infrastructure in such a way that the data stays here?
Yeah.
So that's one level we could use.
Yeah.
We're saying that if I am a hospital and I'm using these frontier models, one of the requirements from Kenya is that the data that is specifically for Kenyans, the personal identifiable information stays here in
country.
Kenya, right? So that's good. So that's one. So we have that information staying here. So data protection, check. And we have the law to support that, the structures to be able to do that.
Yeah, we do.
And so that's one thing we can enforce. And so therefore, the frontier models can pull this PII data and use it for training without breaking the law. Because the law says Kenyan data should stay in Kenya.
As it should.
So they will have to find a way of ensuring that data stays here.
Yes.
That's one tool.
Yeah.
So we haven't become North Korea. We're still using frontier tools.
Yeah.
But we are protecting our data.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
It is. But we need to classify our data before we even get there.
Of course. There are steps to that.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that there's a pathway to actually doing sovereign and govern it without necessarily becoming North Korea. That's one way of doing it. Okay. Right? Another way to think about it is, so we have the data that is localized and the frontier models have accepted that they cannot pull our data and use it externally.
Yeah.
It exists here. Then one other tool that we could actually use is what is called tiered access.
Yeah.
So we do have the data, but we will decide who gets to access what.
But that's okay. Just finish before I interject. Okay.
Right? Who gets to access what? Right? Think about anyone who has a data set for Swahili or Kikuyu or Kamba. The universities have done research, they've collected the data. Like, someone has a data set that allows you to be able to use AI in your local language. Yeah. That data set originated from Kenya.
Yes.
Because it's from the Kenyan people. Let's say Kamba, for example.
Okay.
It's now here. It's been put into this one area where now you're doing tiered access.
So
when the frontier models want to use that data set, we should not give it to them. We should have some tiered controls around how they can access the
Exactly, yeah. We're speaking the same language. And for anyone who does not know a frontier model, your frontier models are your Claude, ChatGPT, Kimi. What's that Google one? Quen. What's that Google one? Gemini.
Okay. You made it look like it was something I've never had. Okay.
Just to clarify, those are the frontier models. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a tiered access.
First of all, we have data residency.
We have data residency.
Meaning that our data stays here. First, let's start there. Now we start to build a wall around it.
Let me draw diagrams. Then from tiered, where do you think we should go?
Yeah, so the tiered access then, so if you're a university that is local and you want to use that for research, you should be able to access that information within some controls.
Yeah.
Right. So can we enforce it? Yes, we can use that.
Yeah.
We can use APIs. So APIs we are built, frontier models given specific access, and they need to pay a license for accessing that information and for using it. And just a few days ago, when we were doing a release of some paper around sovereignty, one of the discussions was the Kamba community, whose data set, whose language created the data set called Kamba language that now Gemini and all of these other tools are actually using. Yeah. Every time someone uses and queries and be able to get answers back in that language, they should be paid. They should be compensated royalty, right?
No, plain and paid. No, paid.
Yeah. So every time it's being used.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you have data residency, you will see the traffic that came to pull that.
Exactly.
And the transactions around that. So there's, again, because we're talking about how do you govern sovereign AI.
Yeah.
So this is another layer that we can put on top of it so that anyone who is contributing, indigenous, and in this case, the indigenous languages that I'm speaking about, the Yoruba people should be paid for every time anyone uses Yoruba on AI.
Listen,
consistently.
ChatGPT was speaking Kikuyu.
Yeah.
Was responding to me in
Kikuyu. No one in Kikuyu land has been paid anything. That's a problem.
I am Mombi. In Kikuyu, my name means Ninawaro, did it? Yeah. And I was not paid, so that's not good. But yeah, you're right. So essentially, okay, I'm now I have a rethink about this. Give us access, don't give us access. Okay, Nina AI. The real source is the data.
Yes.
Because at some point, they'll need to scrape. It's not even scraping data.
They need the data for training. They need the data for making whatever model they have better.
Exactly.
And the data is originally here. It's ours.
Yeah.
And so once we guide that, we do not necessarily need to be cut off from that AI, but they will need that data to be able. So there's that symbiotic relationship between our data, which is uniquely available only here.
Exactly.
And so in exchange, we can negotiate. Now we can negotiate.
Spoken like a diplomat. Were you a diplomat in another lifetime?
Yeah,
okay. Now for the CIO and the CTO of today, what do they need to be aware of? I mean, I feel like I've used that awareness, that word. But I mean, what do they need to be cognizant of with all this happening, with all these conversations happening?
Yeah. If I was a CIO of a hospital, my what happened this weekend basically falls under what is called a business continuity plan, BCP.
Yeah.
Right? So and we build BCPs across every solution that is in production.
Yeah.
And every CIO is mature enough, understands that has to happen.
Yeah.
So definitely there's going to be a BCP plan for any AI solution that we've implemented. So the question is, how does that BCP plan look like? How does that business continuity plan look like? For a solution that we built for our customer patients triage, that now is
no longer
built
accessible
on top of a model that has been switched off by the US.
Yeah.
What's plan B in that regard? What do we build on top of it, right? So now, considering local models becomes like number one. The way that the banking system has always operated.
Yes.
There's cloud, there's AWS, there's Azure, but they have on-prem solutions.
Yeah.
So same thing would apply with AI. So yes, we do have the models that are on the cloud that we're using.
Yeah.
Do we have another one that we can do on-prem that is not necessarily at the same level in terms of capability, but will be able to allow us to transition and continue to do business when this other one has been switched off?
So your fallback mechanism, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And fallback is going to be local AI. And that local AI is going to get better. Every time it gets better, you're going to download the better version and let it sit there as your plan B. And it will continue to improve as you move along in that regard. So there is a plan B.
So what's happening essentially is good for African sovereign AI providers, your Cassava, ourselves. Was like, hey, we're open for business. We don't discriminate. We'll not switch you off. Whilst getting to that level of ChatGPT will take us time. And maybe we don't need to be like ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude or DeepMind or everybody else. We just need to be for Africa, with Africa, by Africans.
Yeah.
So my future in the field is cemented.
You and your partner?
we are
the business is safe?
The business is safe.
The question is how fast can you scale? Because the demand is like up here, but the supply is like out here. Which is a good problem to have in business though.
Do you know what we're going to do for our next episode? I'm going to bring you Atlantis, Michael, who you know is the founder of Reverse Tech, and then we can unpack all this because this is a business opportunity, right?
The other person that needs to be in the room is one person from Big Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Bring them there.
Bring them there. So it's going to be alive. It's going to be a her sovereignty. Still figuring it out. One of the many AI ABCs. Sovereignty today, optimization tomorrow. Last words. AI sovereignty.
So I my last word there would be, access and sovereignty is, we don't need to trade the two.
No, and we shouldn't.
We don't need to trade the two. We don't need to sacrifice access for sovereignty. Those two things can coexist.
Yeah.
We can pull some levers to ensure that we get a better deal at accessing what is it that is not local.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, we don't need to shut down 100% access by saying strictly we shall use local infrastructure, we'll start to build that. So I think the confusion between when we talk about sovereignty, people assume that it means we need to build locally. That's not true. There are levers we can use to be able to give us that leverage that allows us to be able to get access, but with our terms as part of the deal.
As we think and look to building locally.
Of course.
That's the end goal, right?
Of course. There's always plan B, plan C, plan D.
Yeah.
But building locally, the reality of it, if you have to do that over 10 years, is not plan A.
No, and it should. It's cost.
It also should not be plan B.
No.
Feels to me like a plan C.
Even D. As we continue observing what's happening in the news, hey, after G7, I don't know what else they'll say.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on Tech Talk Africa.
You're welcome.
We'll continue exploring this conversation. And to our listeners, what do you think about AI sovereignty? Should it be tiered? Should we be building local? Or we should be a hybrid? Oh, yeah. The hybrid approach. Okay.
There's a hybrid model there.
Spoken.
That also works.
All right. Spoken like a diplomat, a true leader, and you've heard it right there from Timothy Laku, one of the best fractional CIOs I've ever sat with. Thank you.
You're welcome, Stella. Thank you for having me.